Street gospel, light of the temple. Sword swing, killer live from the ghetto. The hood messenger, let them know hell's close. Black burial, the devil in a black cloak.
Yo, what is up? Welcome to the Street Gospel Podcast. I'm your host, Dave One. And this is episode number... What episode is this, Cam?
112.
Episode number 112. If you caught the last episode, episode 111, King of Queen, featuring Jimmy Queen. What a great podcast. I mean, if you don't know Jimmy Queen, you need to go follow him. A straight Huntington Beach original. Turned his life around. Thriving coach, believer. Just a really solid, good dude, family man. So check out Jimmy Queen. Check out his clothing brand. Thank You Collective. Go follow Jimmy. Jimmy's a great guy. But today, we have on somebody that I've been waiting for a little while. I think I've followed him for a minute, and it's probably been following him before he became a candidate in the California gubernatorial race. I like to follow law enforcement, especially good law enforcement, and we'll get into a little bit. But this guy right here, he is a believer, a father, a grandfather, a husband. He's the sheriff of one of the largest counties in the United States. It's got to be top 5, right?
As far as our department goes, the size of our department, we're number 4.
Number 4. And he's running for governor of California. We'll get into that. But I want to welcome to the show Sheriff Chad Bianco.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. It was a back and forth trying to get on, cancellations, neither one of us being available. I'm glad it worked out. It
definitely worked out. I had a feeling that it was going to work out. Maybe it was a little God nudge there or something like that, but I knew that it was going to work out. We were talking a little bit before the podcast, and I was saying that I have a wide range of guests on this show. I don't think I've ever had this high of law enforcement in my house or in the
very
podcast.
Good.
But it's great to have you because I think I follow you. I follow Sheriff Discus from San Bernardino. Definitely. I used to follow the guy from LA, but that didn't work out too good for him.
Yeah, that's right. But I think he just announced he's going to run again.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. But you're running for governor. Now, let's just get straight to the chase here, and we'll go back a little bit because I want to know some of your background.
Very good.
And I'm going to ask you, you're pushing almost 35 years for Riverside County Sheriff Department.
32.
32 years. I would think, and I know guys that are in, the fire department, that are police officers, and they push for that 25-year mark, 30-year mark, and then they said, we're out. And they usually get in there when they're pretty young. In their mid-20s, so they're retiring at a great age, a lot younger than most people retire.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you this, Sheriff. Why do you want to run for governor and go through the scrutiny of so much things when you can just, and you ride horses, I know that's for sure, you can just ride off to the sunset, you and your lovely wife, enjoy your family, and retire? You paid your dues. Why do you want to do this?
Well, that was one of the big questions that we had to ask ourselves. I had to ask myself, I had to ask my wife, and be honest, we had to ask our kids. And if this was something that, if they would have been against, I wouldn't have done it. If my wife would have said no, it would have been okay, then we're not doing it. And for me, that seriously was a big question because honestly, I'm at the age, I'm 58 years old. I mean, luckily for me, my internal age is nowhere near 58.
I feel you on that.
Very healthy, strong. I'm not ready to retire. I'm not ready to just waste away. But I am really ready to enjoy the rest of life. And there are a lot of things that retirement, looks appealing. I hang out with my kids, my grandkids especially. Travel. There are a lot of things we want to do before we get too old that we can't.
Right.
So at a time when most of all my friends are considering retirement or have already left and retired, and it could be on my mind, I'm doing exactly the opposite and really going to lock myself in for a minimum of 8 more years. So the reality is, I love doing what I'm doing, being the sheriff. I'm well liked in Riverside County. I'm very popular there, and I have no intention of leaving this job anyway. So it wasn't like oh, look, this certain year, 32 years on, 33, I need to retire.
Yeah.
I was going to run for sheriff again anyway in 2028 and probably again in 2032 and probably again after that, depending on if people still wanted me around.
Right.
So the whole retirement thing is great and it's appealing, but in my brain, I'm just not ready yet. There's a lot of things I want to accomplish. There's a lot of things I've said I've wanted to do. And one of those things was make Riverside County the safest county in the country, because I'm the sheriff of that county and I want our department to be the best. But as I got into it, I realized that state government is what was preventing me from making Riverside County the safest.
Yeah.
I couldn't do the things I wanted to do because the law won't allow it, or it won't let us keep people in jail or throw people in jail, and the ones that are victimizing us. That I mean, for a civilized society, we have an adherence to laws, and that's just what I'm there for.
Right.
And I realized that this was the biggest thing. I'm not from California. I I was born and raised in a different state, Utah. I came here for the California dream. If back when I was young, and unfortunately it doesn't exist anymore, but when I was young, everyone looked at California as, oh my gosh, California.
Oh yeah.
You meet somebody from California and it's like, oh, what's it like? Oh, I want to go there. I want to be there. That's where I want to be. And so there was a nationwide draw of going to California for the California dream. And that was only one generation ago.
It's crazy.
And that no longer exists. So now when you tell someone you're from California, you're ridiculed. They laugh at you. We're a laughing stock instead of of being idolized as the greatest state in the country. And I love it here. I mean, I left a different state that I loved. I had a great childhood. I grew up there. It was all good. I have family still there. I love going back. But California is my home, and I absolutely love it here.
Yeah.
And that California dream that I had, that I was able to achieve, is no longer available to my kids. Mm-mm. And it's no longer available to millions of kids in California, adults even. I mean, you can't afford a home. You can't afford the cost of living. Everything is on the downside in California. Right. And because of what I had been doing in law enforcement, and because of my involvement in Sacramento and pushing for public safety and all of those things, with the consult from other people and the advice from other people and the suggestions from other people, I started thinking about doing something that I have no desire to do, and that's run for governor. I mean, my career is a cop, and that's all I've done for 32 years. And truly, my position is the pinnacle of law enforcement. There's no other better job than being the sheriff of a large county, of any county, but a large county. I mean, that's even better. And I realized that the position that I was in, the position that California is in, there's a pretty good chance that I would have a chance of winning this election, not just running. I would never run just to run. That's silly. I only decided to do it when I actually thought, man, it could be done. Not only can it be done, it has to be done.
Right.
And the situation that California is in, horrible crime rates, people don't trust politicians. It's something like I saw a statistic that 16% of the people that took this poll trust politicians. We've gotten to a place where it's okay to be dishonest as a politician. And when you look at that, I believe, because I know I am, I believe that the majority of Californians are starving for a leader to actually be leading California in a place that government is working for its residents.
Right.
And someone that they can trust, someone that they can believe, someone that they know is looking out for their best interests. Yeah. And I think that my background, my history, the position that I'm in now, I think I offer that. I think I fit that bill, and everything just came into place. It came into place, and it was like, man, this is the right time. This is the right thing to do. And not that I want to leave my current position, because I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to do it, knowing that I do have that chance of winning, and we can make California better again.
And I think that's one thing I would say that made me look at you a little bit longer when it came to running for governor. I definitely loved you as a sheriff. But I think the one thing that I was looking at is this guy's running and he doesn't have to run. You get a lot of politicians and they run because they probably have some boring job. They want some power, right?
Yeah.
They all the wrong reasons. We see that a lot in Congress right now. You know what I mean? And so when I think of a guy that's running that doesn't have to run, that just wants to serve, literally serve, that's all he's done, then I'm thinking, okay, he knows what he's getting into. He knows the scrutiny. He knows they're going to bring every bad thing out of the closet and put it right in his face and have him answer for it, or whatever it may be. Maybe there's not a lot of bad things. I haven't heard a lot of bad things. But there is scrutiny, and they'll make anything out of something.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And
Make
so,
it up if they have to.
Make it up if they have to. We've seen that. So I think that's one thing. That's why I was like, okay, if you don't have to run and you really want to run for the right reasons, I think that's it. I mean, you go home every day now.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, when I should be thinking about retirement, and I'm very blessed to be the Sheriff of Riverside County, and we're an unbelievably large organization, and with that, it comes a good paycheck. I mean, I get paid
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with what I get paid. I'm going to take a huge pay cut to be the governor of California.
To have way more headaches.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Tons more headaches,
Yeah.
and tons more responsibility, and tons more scrutiny, and really, truly be in that political realm,
Yeah.
instead of, for me, in the public safety law enforcement realm. But you kind of hit it on the head which was, I didn't mention it, but one of the things that I thought of as I was running is, this sounds bad. I mean, you got to listen to the whole thing, but I don't want to be the governor. I'm not doing this because I woke up and said, you know what? I want to be governor of California. I actually don't. I mean, that's not appealing to me.
Yeah.
I want to be in a position to make things better for everyone else. I want to serve someone else.
Right.
And one of the things that I thought of when I'm going over this long list of people that are running, everyone has a personal interest of running. I don't. It's negative for me to run. There's nothing positive about me running.
I see that.
Everyone else is in it personally. They want to be the first of something, or they're angry, or they were personally injured, so that now they've got to be the governor to make it right, or they're selling a book, or they're trying to raise their name recognition for something else, or
Right.
their personal platform, or on the Democrat side, it is straight up I want to be, because I want to be the first woman, I want to be the first African American, I want to be the first Hispanic, I want to be the first gay, I want to be the first. I mean, there's every single one of them is the first. Right. I want to be it's like, you know what? I want to be what we haven't had in a long time. I think California needs a leader. And I want to be that leader that everybody is looking toward to make the state better. And I think that's what the appeal is of people that are attracted to me running for this position and getting on board with the campaign is they know that I'm not in it for myself. They know that I want to help this state and make things better. And it seems to be working out great.
Yeah, I think there's you mentioned people just not having that same California dream. I mean, you come here, you enjoy the weather, you buy a home, you raise a family, you can go to, you're an hour away from the mountains, you're an hour away from the beach. There's so many things you can do. Ball teams to go watch, there's just so much. And like you said, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
I grew up in Southeast LA. There was a minute there where downtown was getting like gentrified, and it was nice. And you go down there and there's a coffee shop, or there's, a cafe, and then you go to the art museum down there. I would never go down there. I mean, my friends are probably going to be mad at me now that I say that, but it's just not the same no more.
Right.
It's homeless. It's drug addicts. It's people just living wild down there. It's dirty. It's graffiti. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
And it's just like, You know, this is not the same. It everywhere you go is getting that way, and then it's super expensive. Everything is politics or some crazy law that just doesn't make sense, right? You can,
nothing makes sense here.
You can start a restaurant. You can start a restaurant and have to follow all these rules, but if you're a street vendor and set up in the street, you don't have to follow no rules.
Right.
I mean, stuff like that is just, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I talked to you about a little while ago about being a CCW permit holder. I mean, there's so many things you have to jump through hoops for, which is fine with me. But if you get caught with a gun, most of the time, you're out of jail the next day.
They're making laws. They're taking away the laws that had gun enhancements. They're taking away the gun enhancements. So it used to be if you committed a crime and you used a gun, there was a mandatory automatic extra penalty that got added onto your sentence. Gone. Done away with.
Crazy.
If you commit a crime with a gun, our lawmakers feel sorry for you and they take care of you and they baby you. Mm-hmm. But if you are a law-abiding California resident, they make you jump through hoops, and they're going to punish you for anything that they possibly can. They're taxing you extra if you want to buy a gun. They're taxing you if you want to buy ammunition. Yeah. They're all of these things that they're just for. It's almost like they're making it so hard to be law abiding that you just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah,
and it's a shame.
I mean, it's across the board. I mean, we were laughing the other day. I was telling my son he used to paying the yearly registration fee, right? And he was laughing because he's like, well, you know, he's saying, how much was yours? $178 for a 2009 Tacoma truck. Okay, and I got a 2023 4Runner. He'll get there, and I told him, well, mine's a 6 something.
Yeah,
and then he's like, wow. He goes, that's crazy. And I said, yeah. I go, do you know most states? It's like $50.
Yeah.
$50.
And some of them are $50 for 2 years.
Yes. And so I wouldn't mind paying that much money. But the problem is I pay that much money and the roads are worse than
horrible.
Are worse than ever.
Yeah.
Traffic's worse than ever. I mean, it's kind of you don't get no bang for your buck. You don't see it. That goes across the board. Education, everything, you get tax, and then nothing is you don't see anything for it. Nothing improves. It's getting worse.
I've been talking about this on the campaign trail, and I mean I didn't know this existed. I've heard it before, but I just didn't pay attention to it. But they call it for California. They call it the sunshine tax. And so I had to look it up. I'm like, I don't know what's a sunshine tax. So I had to look it up, and it's slang. It's urban talk, but what it means is it's what you're willing to pay or what you'll pay to be in California with the sunshine.
Yeah.
The perfect weather. We have the perfect weather of any state. Right. You said it right. I mean, if we want snow, we can go to snow. But if you want to live in perfect weather year-round, it's here. In the summertime, it's warm, but it's hot everywhere.
Yeah.
But ours is perfect. We have mountains, we have beaches, we have what geography offers us and what the weather offers us. Climate and geography is like no other state in the country. We are by far the best. And so that sunshine tax is, what are you willing to pay the government for you to stay here? And I think that what has happened over decades is they just keep pushing that envelope of what are you willing to pay. And now we're starting to say, we don't have any money for anything anymore. Yeah. We can't afford to do anything. And all of those things that we've been willing to pay for no longer exist. Our roads are horrible. Our schools are horrible. Everything that they tax us for, that they regulate us for, there is no benefit. And I think that the idea of the sunshine tax is people are okay with paying taxes if there's a benefit to this, if you get something from it. And those are all gone. We're not, you look and you say, where is my money going?
Right.
Where is all of our money going? Because it's not going to keep us safe. It's not going to the fire department, police department. It's definitely going to government, but the government's not paving our roadways and fixing our freeways and making them less trafficked, dealing stuff with traffic. We're not getting that benefit, but yet the size of government grows every year.
Right.
And the only way that grows is by taking more of our money. And so we've gotten to the point where I think we're done. I think we're like, yeah, you tapped us out. We found our limit, and now we're done. We're going to go backwards.
Right.
Because now we're paying, not only do we realize we're paying way too much, we don't want to pay it anymore.
Yeah. I've there's been times where I've talked to my wife and I'm like, man, I wish we could move. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, especially during COVID. Yeah. We'll get into that a little bit. But during COVID, I was like, this is ridiculous. This is stupid. You know what I mean? I'm like, we need to get out of here. And I was talked a little bit off the edge by my pastor, which believes that, it's a spiritual battle too. He's like, no, we should stay. There's people here. California can be won back. If we don't stay, this is the front line.
Yeah.
And it has, as California goes, the nation goes.
Yeah.
So you can move to Arizona, you can move to Nevada. I don't know if anybody wants to move there, but anyways, you can move to those states and good for you. Maybe it's cheaper, maybe it's better, maybe your family has more opportunity. Fine. But it just seems to move eastward. The politics
and it's
the
done
wokeness,
that.
And it's
it used to be that the Nevada, the Arizona, those were all red states that people were fleeing California for. It's like, hey, I can go live in Vegas. It's hot, it's miserable, whatever, but I'll go live in Vegas, or I'll go live in Arizona, Phoenix, all of those places. And it was appealing. So everybody was leaving, but they took California politics with it. Yeah. And so as goes California, as goes the country, it just kept creeping.
Right.
And so there's a great way of looking at that is, yeah, that's right. But that means if we fix California, we could also fix the rest of the country. Yes. So by turning us around, by making a 180-degree change here, and to be honest with you, I'm actually excited about winning and being the governor, even though, you can look and say, oh my gosh, the headaches that it's coming and everything else. I got to be really honest and tell you that for decades, the bar has been set really low.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be difficult to go in and make a whole lot of people happy, lowering the cost of living, lowering the taxes, lowering the government regulation, making it easier to live here, easier to operate your business, all of those things, making it easier, affordable to own a home, bringing down the cost of insurance, all of those things. It's going to be relatively easy because it was government that honestly purposely did it and made those things go up. So I'm looking forward to it and knowing that we're going to bring people back into California, because everybody that leaves California, they want to come back.
They want to come back.
They don't like tornadoes, they don't like hurricanes, they don't like humidity.
Yeah,
they don't like bugs.
I visited Texas this summer with my pastor. We went on. He preached, and we went out there, and we went to Austin. Yeah, and Austin's blue.
Yes, it is.
So we get on some scooters, and he's like, "Let's go see let's try to find something we like here." And I said, "Okay." We rode around. I didn't like anything.
Yeah,
I like the barbecue, but
that's it.
That's it. The barbecue is cool.
So you like lunchtime and dinner time. That's it.
people were nice, but one day it poured. We couldn't see nothing. Then it was super hot, and it was humid, and it was just flat. And I was just like, the freeways were wild, and I was like, there's nothing about Texas I like. And we went to the church, and we saw a bunch of old friends from California, and we asked a good handful of them, hey, how do you like it here? Nobody gave us like, it's so much better. You know what they said? Oh, we own a house. We bought a house. That's it. Nothing else other than that. And then finally we asked the guy from Paramount. We said, hey, how do you like it out here? He goes, I don't like it, man. We want to move back. We just can't afford to move back right now.
Yeah.
And he had given it a good gun-ho try, 5 years out there. And I was just like, yeah, there's something about California that just sticks with you, and you want to fight for it. You want to be a part of it. You want it to get better. I think a lot of people are there right now. They don't want to move, whether it's because it's very expensive to just get up and leave, try to start all over. You miss home. There's nothing like being home.
Yeah.
This is home.
I say that on my campaign. We were one of the slogans across one of the flags is, "This is my home. I shouldn't have to leave." And that's really what it is. It's the people that are leaving, they feel like that's their only option. They can't afford it anymore. It's too stressful for their business or whatever the case may be. And they're being forced out of their home. Yeah. It wasn't that they said, man, I don't like California anymore. They never said that. Yeah. It was, I can't afford it.
Right.
I don't like the government. I don't like the politics or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And it really isn't even the politics, because there's politics everywhere. The difference here is it's one party politics. It's one party rule, and and you're at the whims of a political ideological agenda that nobody is interjecting common sense into and saying, hey, that's affecting us or that's affecting them. It's almost like they just don't care. So that's really where we're at, is exactly what you said, and your pastor talking you out of it is, you got to stay and fight. You got to stay and try and make it better. I mean, you can't just run everywhere, and the grass is always greener somewhere. But then when you get there, you realize that the grass dies there too if it's not watered. Right. So we just need to start watering our grass here and get that back, because eventually, by making it better here, we'll bring all of the businesses back, or more businesses, bring all of the people back and more people, and make California that place where everyone wants to come to. And then everything thrives here. I mean, that's when things work, when you have all of the businesses and you have all of that competition, that economic competition.
We used to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gone. So, Sheriff, you serve. What do we get wrong as civilians out here about the men and women who serve in law enforcement? Because I think it's gotten so bad where people just have a narrative that one bad cop represents the thousands of cops that you manage.
You're right. And you know what? From a leader, from a law enforcement leader, I'm okay with that. Partially. I'm okay with that view, of having that view of holding us to a higher standard, because I believe we should be held to a higher standard. But the problem is what that mentality that people have, that negativity toward law enforcement, it started maybe 10 years ago. And from a political level, there's always been some people that either didn't trust the cops or doesn't like the cops or whatever the case may be. But this agenda, this push to demonize law enforcement started 10, 12 years ago, somewhere around there. And maybe a little bit longer, 20, somewhere between 15 and 20 maybe.
Yeah.
And it's the only industry that's like that. I mean, there are people all of the time getting killed in the hospital by a bad doctor, medical malpractice. Yeah. But that doesn't make all doctors bad. I mean, I say this all of the time when people are saying, it's just cops. And I think it's a part of it is our phones. We have a computer in our pocket that tells us things all day long. And if you really, truly watch them, very rarely does anything negative in law enforcement come out about California. It's usually somewhere else. But it's always in your phone, sometimes not even in our country. Right. But they show something bad that a cop is doing, and you see a fight or you see something bad happening, and you don't know where it is. You don't even pay attention because you just watch it. And that was the intent, was not to tell you it was from somewhere else.
Or the context.
Yeah, and it's just to make you think that this happens all the time.
Right.
And the reality, it doesn't. I mean, the contacts that we have with law enforcement are in the tens of millions.
I tell people that all the time.
A year.
I said, for every bad thing you see online, how many interactions do you think police have?
Oh yeah.
How many do you guys have a day?
We have 1 million calls for service, over 1 million calls for service a year, just of people calling 911. That doesn't count the times where we're just out in public dealing with people, or the traffic stops, or the anytime we just encounter someone that we talk to.
So we're talking thousands a day.
Oh, easy.
Easy.
Piece of cake. Easy. Thousands and thousands a day. But
and negative,
you don't hear anything.
And negative ones?
Maybe a couple a month. Maybe. And that's just negative. That's not bad. That's not the ones you're seeing on your phone that give you the bad taste in your mouth. But there are some. I mean, the reality is I hire from the human race. And we aren't perfect. Nobody is. And unfortunately, we have cops that do bad things sometimes. And the thing for a good cop, the worst thing for us is a bad cop. We absolutely hate them. We hate bad cops more than you hate bad cops because they make us look bad, and we know that we're not bad.
Right.
So as a leader, and I'm speaking for every leader of every organization, whether you're a police chief or whether you're a sheriff, we do everything we can to identify and eliminate those people that are making us look bad.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to believe that. Nobody understands that or thinks about that while it's happening. So like right now, I'm running for office, and so and really I'm running on a platform of integrity, leadership, doing the right thing for others, and community service, and all of those things. So what has to be attacked? They have to attack my leadership ability and say I'm not. They have to attack my service and say it's not. They have to attack when people are saying, for the most part, the majority of people look at, especially sheriffs, the head of a sheriff that you're voting for anyway, they look at them in high regard. They hold them at a high place.
Higher than most politicians.
Yeah. And so now me running for their spot that they want and truly being on a way higher playing
I
field
agree with that.
than they are, they have to attack that. So even here, they're trying to attack what happens in my department. We've arrested in the last couple of years, half a dozen, maybe a dozen people and prosecuted them and fired them for committing some type of a crime. And no one asks who arrested them. It's like, well, I did. I identified them, I arrested them, and I fired them. They label me as being bad because one of our deputies was bad. But it's never like that for any other company. Right. Or for any, nobody, somebody goes out and murders somebody. That guy worked at Walmart. The head of Walmart doesn't get fired or get accused of something bad.
Or a teacher that abuses a child.
I use that example all the time because it's typically the left, the far left, that will say, you're bad, this happened, that means you're bad. And I'm like, really? Yeah, that's weird. What do you do for a living? And, just for instance, we'll say a school teacher. He'll say, well, I'm a school teacher or I'm a principal. I'm like, really? One of my investigators arrested a principal a couple of weeks ago for child molestation. Why are you molesting children? And they get all offended and they're like, I don't molest children. I'm like, well, you must, because we arrested a teacher that was molesting children. So you must be all the same. And they go off, they're all mad, and they probably should be for me accusing them. But then I bring it back and say, so why would you accuse me of something that somebody else did?
Right.
And why would you accuse the profession when we despise that? And, some of them just end the conversation. They get mad and walk away. Some of them realize it and say, I see what you mean. So it's hit and miss, but that's really, we went on a little bit about it, but I think it's a bad rap. I mean, if it was just rampant and we were not doing anything about it, then I would say, yeah, you should be worried about cops, because cops are horrible. These people, they never get fired. They never get arrested. They never, but that's not the case.
No.
And then really, I have to tell Californians, you should be extremely proud of your law enforcement in California, because so I interact with law enforcement all over the country now. And I will tell you, there is not any law enforcement agency or officer more disciplined, more trained, more regulated than California. I mean, we have more attorneys. I mean, we suffered through lawsuits and all those things in the 90s and the early 2000s, what the rest of the country's going through now, because we evolved. I mean, there were if we were doing something wrong, then fix it. I mean, if your policies or procedures are wrong and you're getting sued for it, or bad things are happening, we fixed them. And the rest of the country didn't pay attention. They weren't doing that. It was just us here. Yeah. So now we realize, hey, we experienced that 20 years ago. This is how we fixed it. So we're telling them, you need to get on board here and start modeling yourself after California, because we are more trained and we are better trained and better regulated. We do need regulations. We have to have,
some accountability.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we're good with that.
Yeah. What type of men and women are trying to become sheriffs now? Are they young people that want to serve? Are they want to come in because they had family that served, or what type are you seeing coming in now to the department?
We're kind of seeing a little bit of every aspect of society, where there used to be just a ton of military or a ton of athletes, of high school and college athletes that, there's a lot of similarities in the law enforcement family as military or as a sports team. That camaraderie and that closeness and that bond that you get, it's really the same. So we used to attract from that. But lately, last 10 years, 15 years or so, we've been getting a lot of more social-minded people. And unfortunately, a lot of them don't last because they may have got in for the right reasons, thinking they're going to help people, thinking they're going to, but just the wrong type of people. There are a lot of there was a time when we got a lot of naive people that just thought cops are bad and we need to help these people. And then they come into this and really they probably would make great social workers, but we aren't social workers.
Right.
And so they don't work out. So right now, our younger generation is kind of going back to what it was. We're getting more military that's getting out of the military and then coming in. We're having a lot of college-educated kids that are coming in. We do pay pretty good. You can, not right off the bat, but within 5 years, especially with overtime, you'll be making well over $100,000 a year, and good benefits. It's a career. You pay for your family. You pay for
good retirement.
A good retirement. Everything's good about it. So we're getting those people that are thinking about that right off the bat, career minded. But for the most part, everybody that comes into it is doing it because they're the whole if there's an underlying why are you doing it? It's because I want to make a difference. I want to make my community safer, or I want to change the reputation, or I want to something. They're making a difference. So you have that mentality of I can do something to make change, to make positive change, and it's from every. I mean, I like saying that I wish you could do a study. Someone would do a study on law enforcement, especially if it was during COVID, but. My agency, I've got 4,400 employees, and it truly is a microcosm of California. I mean, we are Republicans, Democrats, every single race that there is, we probably employ. We have non-American citizens that are here with green cards or something like that, with work permits, not as law enforcement officers, but they work in classified
aspects.
positions. We have women married to women. We have men married to men. We have, I think I am the only, or I was definitely the first, and I think I am the only person or agency that has hired trans deputies. I have a male to female and a female to male. There is nothing about society that we don't have here.
Yeah,
and
it reflects society.
It is a perfect reflection of society. And the beauty of the whole thing is we all get along. We're not fighting about
purpose.
Oh, absolutely. We're not fighting about who you're married to or who you're not, or your gender or any of those things. It's about we're here for a purpose, and it's a bond for us, and we're going to make our society, we're going to make our community, our county, we're going to make them better. We have a common goal. We all believe in the majority of the same things, and that's what we care about. We don't care about who we vote for. There are people that voted for Trump, and there are people that voted for Biden, and no one cares. We're not fighting over it. We didn't separate friendships over it.
That's the way it used to be in society.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about that stuff. You voted, okay, you're still my neighbor.
Yeah.
You need help today?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would help them.
And even for when you just go into a call, I mean, we're going out and a lot of the times, not all the time, but we go to places to help a victim, and those victims don't like us.
Yeah.
The people that we are helping don't like us.
So crazy.
And yet we willingly go out there and do everything we can to fix that situation that they're in, make their life better. You know, if we have to arrest somebody that's victimizing them, we do it. And we don't ask. I mean, no dispatcher ever said, 911, what's your emergency and who did you vote for?
Is this Casablanca? Oh, we know you guys don't lock us over there. So
Yeah.
they're not showing
Yeah,
up.
it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So that mentality that we have, the people that are coming into the profession truly want to help other people. They're fighting through the misconception that that perception of law enforcement bad. They're fighting through that and saying, no, it isn't. And if they do, they say, well, I'm going to go make it better. I think I can make it better.
I like that.
And they're coming into the profession doing it. They are.
Yeah.
We can always change. We can always get better. And I'm probably one of the biggest supporters of law enforcement, but I've never said law enforcement's perfect. Yeah. We can always get better.
Sure.
We can always change. Every single day, I tell everyone at every academy that graduates, every single day, you should be coming to work to make it better than yesterday.
Right.
And if that's what your goal, and it doesn't matter how tiny, what tiny improvement could you make or what did you do better, but if we're doing that every single day, then all we can do is keep improving. And that's all you can ask of people.
You mentioned social workers a minute ago, and there's this notion out there and these people that are pushing to get rid of police officers, maybe not entirely, but a good majority of them, and put in social workers. These crossing guards that will show up and somehow miraculously disarm somebody.
Yeah.
Or calm down a situation by just talking.
Yeah.
Why is that wrong?
Or what could everything go wrong? About it
what
is
could
what
go
could
wrong?
Yeah. What could go wrong with that?
Yeah.
So the unfortunate misconception of a lot of people, not everyone, because some people admit this and they know a fact of society. Not everyone is good. Yeah. Not every person is a good person. There are evil people out there that believe that they are more important than everyone, and your rights and your safety mean absolutely nothing compared to what they want. So it's not your property. It should be their property. It's they don't care about your life. They don't care about your property. They don't care about anything. And that's a hard thing to, if you're a good person, that's a hard thing to wrap your head around, that there are evil people out there that only want to victimize. And the reality is there are. And it's a small population. It's 95% of the population are good, hardworking people. It's just us. We worry about our families, our jobs, our houses, our neighbors, and maybe our neighborhood or whatever the case may be. But we're good people. We're not scheming on how we can victimize someone. Mm-hmm. Those people, that's why law enforcement exists, to ride that fine line of that civilized civilization and keep the bad people away from the good people. And when the people that are saying that, you need to be a social worker, it's like, okay, come with me on this little ride along, and we're going to go out, and you can go to a call with me for something like that, and you tell me what you're going to do as a social worker to fix this situation. And the majority of the time they won't go because they know deep down that's not going to work out well for them.
No.
The truth is going to force them to change their opinion. But some of them do. Some of them come out. And I mean, particularly the homeless. This is a great example. They're not homeless. It's a drug-induced psychosis that we're dealing with. And they don't want help. So when you take someone, it's like, look, we'll just go randomly pick 5 of them and we'll go talk to them and you tell me which one of them we can help and which one of them doesn't want help. And the answer is none of them that we go talk to. Once in a while, you come across somebody that truly is homeless, maybe a lady and her kids or something living in their car because they're abused at home, or kid gets kicked out of the house, 25-year-old kid gets kicked out of the house for whatever reason. He got no place to go, so he's living in his car. We can help those people immediately. And we do. We love it. We have resources. We have city resources, county resources, private entities that want to help. But it's only for a certain type of person. That person has to want the help and accept the help, not the ones that are living on the street staring at the sun and screaming, and really victimizing us, or they're just whacked out of their brain. But that's when you go to those types of calls, there is no reasoning with those people. There's no social worker. The social workers get hurt. And so we have a program where social workers actually ride with deputies. They're assigned a deputy full time, and they ride together. And if it's a mental health call, they're the ones that handle it. The deputy goes and stabilizes it, and then the mental health worker comes in, or the social worker, and then they get services. They get them. They talk to them differently and everything else. But the bottom line when you get there is somebody has to stabilize it. That person, you're getting called because that person's violent, or is attacking someone or breaking things. And the social worker, if their parents can't talk them down, why do you think a social worker is going to be able to talk them down? Yeah. So it sounds great on paper, and it sounds great in a protected little room of people that are like-minded, that just agree with each other in an echo chamber. But when you interject reality into their paper little scenario,
Right.
then it falls apart.
Yeah, it's not reality.
Yeah.
So if we didn't have police, let's just say one day, what would happen to society in your expert opinion? Let's just say every deputy from Riverside said, you know what, I'm going to the beach today. And what would happen to that county?
Yeah, it would be chaos. It would be chaos because you have
it would be the purge.
Yeah, exactly.
Much.
And especially when people find out
Yes.
that there is no law enforcement. I mean, we want to obey the law and everything else, but the deterrent is there's cops out there that are going to catch you. If there are no cops, then it's like, oh, I'll do whatever I want. And that human nature would cause you to do more than what you normally wouldn't because you're afraid of the consequence.
Right.
That's why we don't do things. I mean, you don't touch the red stove because it's going to blister your finger. I mean, you learn that there's a consequence. So if there is no consequence, you push that envelope, you push that limit to whatever it is that you can get for yourself. And not everyone. I mean, everyone, a lot of people just lock themselves in their homes and hope nobody comes into their home. But there would be a lot of people that would take advantage of that. And we live in the greatest society ever, the greatest country ever, but we have an adherence to laws. For a civilized society, you have to have an adherence to the social norms of our laws. And if you don't, then that civilized society crumbles.
Right.
That's why there are cops.
There has to be law and order.
Yeah.
For a civilized society. There's no way to go around it.
Yeah.
Let's take it back a little bit. Where do you get your values from? How did Sheriff Bianco become this guy?
It's upbringing. I mean, I had great parents. I had great grandparents. I grew up in a small town, very small town, and 1,200 people in the town.
Wow.
And so everybody knew everybody. Everyone knew my parents. Everyone knew my grandparents. And so you've got, there are 1,200 people. There's maybe, 500 males in that, adult males, maybe 400 adult males in that town. I had that many dads, and they were making sure that, if I did something wrong, my dad knew about it, or they would stop it. And they would, back then, it was okay for somebody else to spank you and then send you home and say, tell your dad, call me, and I'll tell him why I spanked you. Yeah. And so, but then growing up, it was about how I was raised. Yeah. I was raised with a work ethic. I was raised with integrity. Honesty is everything. I was raised at a time and a place. I was raised by my mom's dad was a cowboy, so that's where I got the cowboy, the part of me. I've had horses since I was a little kid.
So you're a true cowboy. You're not you're not like a Norco cowboy. You're like a true cowboy. Not to put anybody down from Norco. You're taking it back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So, and there truly is in the horse in the Western culture, there's an integrity thing. There is how you treat people. There is a code of what you live by.
Right.
So on my dad's side of the family, my grandpa was a businessman. Depending on who you ask in the family, he was either just a businessman or he was part of the mafia. But regardless, it was also the same integrity and ethics and honesty and the respect for other people, and your word is everything, and all you can do is a handshake, and a handshake and looking somebody in the eye is way more important than a contract or something like that. And then from both sides of the families and both of those cultures, it was you do things for other people. You always help out other people. And I remember growing up with my dad, we would be going on vacation on a family vacation. We grew up in Utah. So Lake Powell, we were only 2.5 hours away from Lake Powell. So we were constantly in Lake Powell. But I remember, we're all set to go for the weekend, and somebody would ask my dad to help him pour concrete or put up a block wall or help with a garage or something. And we would cancel our vacation and we would go help them. So I grew up knowing that you sacrificed yourself and the things that you may want to do if somebody needs your help. And that was my whole life. That's just how I grew up. And so falling into law enforcement, I never wanted to be in law enforcement. Growing up, I was supposed to be a Major League Baseball player. I wasn't
really?
supposed to.
What position?
That was it. Second base is probably what I played more of. My whole growing up was shortstop, but when I got into college, college was all about hitting. So I played left field my first year. My first year I was just a DH. Second year I played second base. Then I played left field my third year, and then second base again my final year. So, but my hopes and dreams was Baseball Hall of Fame. You play for a long time, then coach somewhere, and then be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, it didn't work out, but that life is just how I was raised. And the part of being athletic, I was very athletic in other things. I was a great golfer and I was a great wrestler. Baseball was just, I did those two things because it occupied the other time before baseball season.
Right.
But all of those athletics and being athletic, you realize there are other people just as important as you are. And like wrestling is an individual sport, golf is an individual sport, but it's team oriented. So it's you have to do your best for the team.
Right.
And then baseball obviously is just all team. So that part of having to work well with others and having to pick everybody up and having to, care about what other people are doing and whether they're working hard, and you got to help them get better because that makes the team better and all those things. That's just how I grew up. Then the integrity part, the honesty, all of those things that both grandparents and my dad forced into me. That's just how it was. That brought me to this. Then for me, I know as you get older, you can have all the plans you want, whatever it is. Yeah. But I believe that God is in charge of your life, right. and you can either make horrible bad decisions to take you away from that, or you can go through those open doors and things are going to work out for you. And so I think that how I was raised led me to this position today. So it led me into law enforcement because I truly do care more about other people than I care about myself. And I'm constantly putting myself in a position to sacrifice myself for the betterment of someone else. Then that team concept is law enforcement. You have to work as a team. You're all on the same page. You've got that loyalty to the organization is always there. And it brings me to where I am now. And throughout my career, that reputation that I had was simply just a continuation of what I had when I was young. I mean, it was no different. I was never involved in a clique. I mean, I didn't hang out with a certain type of crowd. I hung out with everybody. I had friends that were on the band team. I had friends that were in theater. I had friends that were obviously on the jocks. I had friends that were the stoners, the party crowd, and I interacted with them constantly. It was a great growing up. I had I think it was a great learning experience that all of those things that I learned took me to where today is easy for me.
Yeah,
it's easy for me to make it's easy for me to make the right decisions. I have a foundation in God. I mean, always from the time as a little kid. So you have that faith, you have that belief, and all of those things together. then I grow up, and and I say I'm, the sheriff all the time. You can't hide the fact that I'm sheriff. But personally, I'm a husband, I'm a dad, and I'm a grandpa. That's it. And I go to work because my family's expensive, and I want to buy them things. So I need the job. That's really what it is. And law enforcement is just a job for me that allows me to not only take care of my family, but I can do these other things of making people's lives better as I go on.
I love that. You mentioned family. As a law enforcement officer, what is it like for the family? We don't understand that. I mean, we can imagine that. We can imagine you leaving, being gone for hours, and your wife doesn't know what happened to you. Might hear some bad news and think it's you. What is it like for family of law enforcement officers? Yeah,
so that's all real, and it's gotten worse with social media because everything happens so fast and so real time that when you're engaged in it, for these young deputies now. And I'll give you a perfect example. When the first deputy in 2022, December 2022, that we had murdered, his family found out about it before we were even on scene. And someone...
Is that the one in the park?
That was the one. No, that was the one in Harupa Valley where he went on, in Norco, where he went on a traffic stop, and he was shot in the face as he walked up to the car. But it was because everything happened so fast that a deputy tells his wife, "Oh my God, we just had a shooting. We think he might be dead. I'm going there now. When you hear about it, it's not me." Well, then that lady puts it on her social media, prayers for my husband. His partner may have just been killed.
Real time.
And then that goes like crazy. And it got to the family before we could get to the family. And so the family dynamic is rough. For mine, it was twofold. We have shitty schedules. I mean, you work shift work, and your shift rotates all the time. And then if you unfortunately work swing shift or graveyard, a routine part of your job is court. So you're in court during the day. So our sleep life sucks. Our family life sucks because we're away a lot. Schedules are horrible. You work weekends. You work holidays. You work birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, all of those things. You don't get those holidays. And so a lot of families, it tears them apart because it's an unhidden animosity. And then a lot of guys, they get consumed by their work. Their work becomes more important than their family, and that's a bad thing for any job. But it happens a lot here in this line of work. But for my family, we just treated it different. Yeah, we had a shitty schedule. My wife loves her birthday. I mean, a birthday is a holy holiday for it's. I mean, it's turning into a month. It used to be a birthday week, now it's a birthday month. But if I had to work on her birthday, I had to make sure that we celebrated birthday on another day. And Christmas, if I'm working Christmas, my kids, so for everything for my kids growing up, they got 2 of everything. They got 2 birthdays, they got 2 Christmas, 2 Easters, 2 Thanksgivings, because as I was working, they celebrated it with everybody else, but then we did it as a family.
Right.
So we had 2 Thanksgivings. We'd have Thanksgiving the weekend before when I was off, and then working Thanksgiving, I obviously couldn't be home. Sometimes I get maybe an hour or something before they went to bed or whatever the case may be. So, but we made the best of it. I had middle of the week, talking about this now, you're a little bit younger than me, I think, but.
A little bit.
50, did you ever water ski?
51. No, I never water skied.
Okay. I guess just the way growing up, I mean, I grew up water skiing. And so then my kids grew up water skiing.
A lake guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so during the week, I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. And I worked in Lake Elsinore. So perfect. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially in the summertime, I was on the lake with my kids all 3 days, and everybody else is at work. If you go to Lake Elsinore on the weekends, it's packed. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's like, no, I don't want to be anywhere near there. But during the week, if there was another boat on the water, it was a fireman or a cop.
Oh, we go to Havasu, and we go during the week. We don't go nowhere near Friday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you go like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's great.
It's awesome. You're the only one there.
Exactly.
So we made our family life. My wife, I was blessed with a fantastic wife that knew the importance of my job and that knew that it was bad and there's nothing she could do about it. So we might as well make the best of it. And I tell all of I speak to every single person we hire, and I tell them that this job can suck if you let it suck. If you embrace it and you work around the suck, it can be better than everybody else's, and you can make it better. And so my kids, I really do believe they had a better childhood. They got 2 of everything. And, it's like, yeah, my dad wasn't there on Christmas Day, but we saw him for a little bit, or he called, or whatever the case may be, but we had Christmas last week. So I got Christmas presents on Christmas, and I got Christmas presents the week before or the week after, because that's how we made it work. And we had a good family. We cared about our family. It's a lot of times cop kids sometimes don't turn out that well because they were left to their own devices, and mom or dad were immersed in work, and 2-income family, so they're not really there very often, and the kids rebel if they don't have a good relationship with dad. If dad comes home and is a cop to their kids, then it forces them to rebel. And I think it may be unique. There are a lot of people that do the same thing, but I never brought work home. I was never, I'm a completely different person at work than I am at home.
Yeah.
At home, I'm a husband and a dad. At work, I'm that cop. And I was just able to separate them.
That's good. I love that. A lot of people don't know how to separate. I mean, that goes for every line of work.
Mm-hmm.
You can just be caught up in your work or busy and not making the best of it. You got to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Just try to make the time for your children, for your family. At the end, that's why you go to work every day.
Absolutely.
To spend some time. Let's get in a little bit to the race.
Yep.
Now, I had some people hit me up. They saw my comments on your page, and right away there was people. If you ever comes on your show, you need to ask them this. You need to ask them that. So I'm gonna play good cop, bad cop.
Very good.
Okay. So that's a bad joke, but here we go. So there's a couple little controversies here, and I know I did my research, but if I don't ask you, they're gonna say that I ranked out. One, the Oath Keepers thing, right? We talked about the scrutiny that you're going to go through. Obviously, you knew that was going to get brought up. Mm-hmm. What was that about?
So here's the whole deal with the Oath Keepers.
And you can make it short because I think it's over 10 years old. Yeah. And I think it
2014.
It probably started off with the decent mindset, and it kind of went south. That's my belief. I'm not saying it's yours, but that's my belief.
Well, it's one of those things about making everything bad because of one. That's really all it is. I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing wrong with Oath Keepers organization. Absolutely nothing. If you look at the Oath Keepers organization mission statement.
I did.
If you compare it with the ACLU, it's almost verbatim.
Right.
The ACLU,
yes,
and Oath Keepers. It's almost verbatim.
Yeah.
So the Oath Keepers organization was basically formed by a bunch of former military, current military, former cops, current cops that have all sworn oath to the Constitution. And the whole idea is you're swearing an oath to the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Obviously, military is foreign, law enforcement is domestic. And it's the Constitution, not government. So
right.
the left painted that as anti-government. Well, I'm the furthest. I am the government. Military is the government. Law enforcement is the government. So I'm certainly not anti-government.
Right.
I'm against anti-Constitution government. And if the government is going against the Constitution, then that's what I'm against. I'm not against government. I'm against socialism. I'm against communism. I'm against all of those things that are our
against
grandpas and our great grandpas fought against
Right.
in this world to make sure that we were that we were free and that we had the rights that we have. So that whole entire entity, the Oath Keepers, was just, you swore an oath to the Constitution and you would defend the Constitution till your death. I mean,
And I'm sure you would do that to this day. I would.
I still would.
I would.
I still swear that oath.
Right.
I swore that oath when I got hired. I swore it the first time I was elected sheriff and the second time I was elected sheriff. And every time I hire a deputy, I administer that oath to them. Same oath.
Same thing.
So the problem with Oath Keepers is, so that was 2014 when that happened. So then now we get to 2020, and a couple of the people that were involved with January 6th were also members of Oath Keepers. They were one was a former cop and a couple of them were former military. And so the left labeled Oath Keepers, the people that love the Constitution. They said, oh, look, it's the Oath Keepers that the insurrection, the tearing down government. And so it's all propaganda.
Yeah.
There was nothing really bad. The main person that started it just shut down the entire organization because it was like he was destroyed because of somebody else doing something, had nothing to do with Oath Keepers, but yet it got labeled as that. So
'cause you never could, once it gets started and gets rolling, you never could.
you can't defend yourself.
Yeah.
Especially when the media,
social
when that's
media,
all it is.
media, everybody
Yeah,
comes
you're
against.
I mean, I've been called all kinds of things. I mean, people have said that I am the one that orchestrated January 6th. They've said that, I am, this anti-government person, and I'm not. We have to have government. I'm pro-government. I'm pro-government that our founding fathers formed.
Right.
I'm not pro-government that believes in socialism, that doesn't believe in the Constitution. So it's the Oath Keeper is not anti-government, it's pro-government created by the Constitution. And it's a bad rap. And so, I mean, I defend myself all the time. It's like, and I paid for a year membership, $49 in 2014. I didn't know what I was getting out of it. You really got nothing out of it. You got a mailer every month, and there was really nothing to it, which is why I would never renew that. It's like, okay, that was a waste of $49.
Yeah.
But it certainly, it was not what the propaganda wants people to believe.
Right. They want to think that you're one of these rampart police from back in the day with a tattoo on the back of your leg and swore oath to this inside organization of the department.
Yeah. And they've labeled it as a right-wing extremist anti-government organization.
Right.
And factually, it absolutely is not.
Got it. Okay. Second little controversy. I mean, that's coming from the far left.
Yeah.
We got one on the right that says, hey, let's play this video. He takes a knee with protesters. I actually, there's a buddy that I work with, and I told him I was going to interview you today at work. And he goes, oh, that's great. I love that guy. I said, okay, cool. I go, I'm going to ask him a few things. I got to see how I'm going to approach it. He goes, I didn't see anything wrong with that. And this is like a stand-up, constitutional, American, golf cart on the weekend with a drink guy. You know what I mean? Like, and I go, well, what's your take? What do you think? He goes, so what was the context of that?
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Good point. So what happened?
This one's not an easy thing to answer because you obviously, how I usually start it is by saying, I grew up and I was told, especially in law enforcement, when we're interviewing people, the saying, don't believe anything you hear and only believe half of what you see.
Sure.
And this is a perfect example of that, of us seeing what other people wanted us to see.
Okay.
And so the reality of that is, and then I'll preface it by saying this: for all of the people that say I'll never support him because he kneeled to BLM and whatever the case may be. So if something doesn't make sense, if nothing makes sense about it, you got to question, then
sure.
it's nonsensical. So maybe it's not true.
Yeah.
So the reality of right now is I'm probably one of the most respected law enforcement leaders in the country. And that's not me telling you that. That's law enforcement telling me that.
That's true. Yeah.
State of California for sure, and locally, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Now, who is BLM? BLM was a completely anti-law enforcement organization that was set out to destroy law enforcement.
Sure.
All law enforcement should be gone. There is absolutely no way I could be that law enforcement leader today if I knelt to an organization that we are enemies. Law enforcement and BLM,
Till the end.
plain and simple, are enemies. And so it's just an impossibility. So what happened that day is the riots of LA, 2020 Summer of Love, the riots came to Riverside. And how those work is those are orchestrated events. That wasn't just random people showing up.
We know that now.
They're orchestrated.
For sure.
So the orchestrators come to us and we work with them to go over guidelines. We tell them this is what's accepted, this is where you're allowed, this is where you're not allowed.
Because they have constitutional rights.
Absolutely. And we're here to protect their constitutional rights. I was there, whether I agree with them or not. I was there to make sure that they could protest.
Right.
And we made sure that they knew what the boundaries were so that when they went from peaceful protest to riot, they knew what the consequences of that were, and we had a zero tolerance consequence.
Law and order.
It was zero tolerance. When it gets to that point, we'll give you your 30 minutes warning that we're going to arrest you all, or if you're still here, and then we're going to make you all leave.
Gotcha.
So, and that was okay. So the people that were coming in as the organizers, they were young kids. They were late 20s, early 30s, and they were community organizer types. And they knew who I was. I knew who one of them was just from reputation around the different cities and around our county. And we went over all those guidelines. We met them 2 days in a row before that event to go over everything. When they left, they were Christian church people, and they knew I was. And so when they left, both days, they asked if we could pray. And of course you can pray. We're sitting in my office praying that everything was going to go well. And so that night, we've got 10,000 people there. We've got 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000, maybe about almost just short of 1,200 cops. And 950 of them were my deputies. So I've got 1,000 cops behind me. I'm in the fold between the 10,000 protesters that are screaming, "Kill Bianco," F the police, all of that stuff that they were screaming. And I'm making sure not only that my guys are doing everything right, but that they're doing everything right. And so there was a curfew. I made the decision to let them go past the curfew because they were doing everything right. And it was funny because we think that they were waiting for that curfew and they weren't going to leave because they thought we would just automatically instigate the problem. And so curfew comes and goes, and the leaders come up to me and they're like, "Hey, what's happening?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, it's curfew. Curfew ended, and you haven't made us leave." And I'm like, "You guys are okay. We're going to let you go. As long as you're peacefully protesting, we're going to let you go." And so they thanked me, and everything was good. And we went probably, I think it was about an hour after curfew. And then we start seeing every once in a while a bottle would come flying. And the deputies are starting to get hit. So I went to them and I said, "Okay, it's over. It's going bad. And we're going to, what we do is we declare it an unlawful assembly. And then we make them leave. We give them reasonable time to leave, and then they have to leave." So I tell them that, and they're like, "Okay, cool." So they're like, "Here's the deal. Here's where all the bad people are. Here's where they've hidden their weapons. Here's where they had industrial fireworks that they were blowing off at us. They told us where those were. They told us where they were going to be coming from, where the rocks were, where the frozen bottles were, where the tools were. I got hit with a screwdriver, about a 16-inch screwdriver I got hit with. And so they're telling us what the people look like, what they're dressed with. They're all dressed the same. And they're telling us where they are and what they look like. then that's where we're going to get the problems from. I'm like, okay, cool. So you got about 20 minutes. We're going to let you all leave. We'll make the announcements and you guys can go. And they're like, okay, cool. Can we just pray with you? Make sure that your deputies are safe, that we're all safe, and that everything goes well, that nobody gets hurt tonight. Absolutely. So there's a picture of us where I have my arm around one of them. There's 3 of them standing there. One of them has his arm around me. And that was like the beginning of it. But if you watch all of the videos and all of the videos, not the ones that they want you to see. Yeah. And they want you to hear.
Sure.
You hear them. You hear the main organizer asking deputies. And then I asked some of them, but they asked if they would pray too. I said yes. And they're like, hey, will you guys pray with us? And some of them said yes, and some said no. And I told everybody, I'm like, hey, you guys do whatever you're going to do. But if you want to, you can. You don't have to.
Right.
So it was all fine. So we're going to start praying. We start praying. And then here's where it went bad. But for me, I don't regret it, and I wouldn't change it because I honestly was there. You know, talk about a leader. I was leading all of the cops, but from my perspective too, I'm also in charge of that protest.
Yeah.
And so I'm making sure that we are all doing everything that we're supposed to be doing, and everything's going to be right for us
overall
at that time. Yeah. We didn't want the Mission Inn to burn down. We didn't want anything bad to happen to businesses downtown.
Yeah.
So here's the only bad thing that I regret, and I only regret it because I don't really regret anything, but I wish I wouldn't have if I knew I was running for governor, because that's the only reason it's coming up.
Yeah.
Is while we were praying, as soon as we start to pray, one of them said, hey, do you mind if we kneel to pray? No, I couldn't care less about kneeling to pray. Kneeling to pray is normal. So we go down and we kneel to pray. They jump up. Right when they jump up, we prayed just for a little bit. It's just like, Lord, and they did it. I didn't. They were the ones praying. Lord, watch out for the deputies. Thank Sheriff Bianco for everything that he did. Watch out for him.
Meanwhile,
watch
Sheriff's
out.
like this.
Yeah,
Eyes wide open.
I was. And there were people going to pull me out if something bad happened. But then it ends, and then the news camera's there.
Okay.
And then she immediately comes in to interview me. And so should I have stood up if I would have thought about it? Yeah. But right at that time, then they're all screaming, F. Bianco, all of this stuff, and murderer, and all this stuff. And so I'm talking to the news, and I'm telling her, and I'm like, this is what we're dealing with. They don't want peaceful. They don't, and so I'm explaining the whole thing to her. So then afterward, that's where the whole kneeling for BLM came from. So the fact of the matter is, all of the deputies there know what happened. That's why no one in the law enforcement world cares, because they all know.
Because your intent was, I pray. I'm a believer.
Yeah.
They asked me to pray with them. I have no problem with taking a knee. I'm not thinking I'm taking a knee in solidarity with everything they believe.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking a knee in solidarity because we're praying to God.
Yeah. And, a lot of people with these videos, you hear it. Even on the news later, a couple of days later when we're seeing it, and I'm like, what the hell? Because the news is saying that I'm kneeling to BLM,
right.
And they're showing that clip, and what you're hearing is take a knee. No one heard that stuff. That I don't even know if that's legitimate.
That's wild.
That it was there, because what was really being said was F. Bianco, F the police, all cops are bastards, all that stuff that they're right. Screaming and they're yelling and all of those things, but you don't know where that came from. You don't know. Somebody's cell phone and, whatever the case may be, or where it was. And regardless, I don't even care, because in the end, the people that, like your buddy that said he doesn't care, doesn't see anything wrong with it, it's like, that's okay, cool. The ones that don't want to believe, and that's what they're doing now, is saying I'm lying. Well, I got no reason to lie.
Yeah.
It's not me that has to lie. You would have to have 1,200 cops behind me that were lying for me too.
Right.
And that's not going to happen. They just would disown me. I wouldn't have been elected again. They wouldn't support me. They wouldn't be supporting me now for what I'm doing.
No way.
So it just doesn't make sense. So in the end, those people that say, I'll never believe him, he's lying and he did this, I really don't care what they think, because for me, I care what the people behind me thought.
Right.
And I know what they know happened, and I know what they think about me now, and truly that's all that matters.
You would have lost all of those guys.
Everyone.
And girls. Right?
Everyone. And not only just my own department, but everywhere.
The respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Lastly, okay, so this was one that I was kind of confused on. And we had the liberal claims. We've had the Republican claims that you kneel down and all that stuff, right? But there's one spiritual one that I don't know, maybe it's not a big deal. But I noticed that one of your true supporters early on is not supporting you anymore, really. He's kind of went a way of supporting Hilton.
Oh, okay. I was I don't know of any other controversy. What are we talking about?
No, I'm not. Maybe it's not controversial, but I noticed Pastor Jack.
It's very controversial.
Okay, I noticed Pastor Jack is not supporting you anymore.
Yeah.
Early on, he was all in.
Yeah.
And he rides, personally, this is my opinion, he rides a fine line where I think sometimes his politics are a lot louder than the voice of the gospel. I have that problem too, but I try to keep the gospel first, and then everything else will fall in line behind me.
Yeah.
So I follow him and keep tabs on what he's doing and stuff like that. But I did notice that, and I was thinking like, okay, was there a riff or was there an issue, or maybe you don't know of an issue?
Yeah, there was absolutely not a rift or an issue, and we still are not aware of one. I will tell you that the majority of that church, just because of what he was preaching and what his rapid rise was because of COVID, was because of defying COVID, and rightfully so, the shutting down churches and everything else. He stayed open, and so he had a lot of people that were able to go to his church and increase its size dramatically.
Sure.
And those are all the same people that support me. I mean, I went to the church. I mean, when it's the only church open, when my church closed and his is open, well, okay, I'll go to Pastor Jack's church. I got to know him. I mean, my second swearing in, he was there and did the opening prayer for my second swearing in. But the vast majority, if not all, of his church are my supporters, and including all of his staff. And so when that morning, when that happened, that was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Right.
That makes absolutely no sense. His staff was floored. His church was floored.
Wow.
I was floored.
Yeah.
I tried reaching out, no response. I tried figuring out what it was, no response. I had other people try and reach out to get what happened here? What are we doing? Why would you be supporting Hilton, who, from a religious perspective, no one knows if he's really a Christian. He's certainly pro-choice.
Toes the line.
He's not what a evangelical Christian church would be supporting.
Right.
And none of those questions have been answered. Pastor Jack won't answer those questions. He won't tell anybody why or what or why he did that or why he chose to support him. And no one knows. I mean, I know a lot. I've heard a lot of things that he has said and that his close people have alleged. And I don't see him coming public and really telling the truth of whatever happened, because he also knows that, okay, well, if that's what you're going to say, now you get the rebuttal.
Sure.
And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bring it up. I mean, he made his choice, and he can pick whoever he wants. He can support whoever he wants for governor. But some of the other things he did along those lines to other people in the name of that certainly are not pro-Christian. That is not going to put him in a good light if those things come to light. And the only way that's going to happen is if he comes, if he starts saying something about me, I'm going to defend myself, and he knows it. And then those things that he has done and said to other people personally about this whole election and who they're going to support and who they're not going to support and all those things, some of the people in the church know it, they've heard it, and they've left. And it's too bad, because from a pastor perspective, I like everything he says.
Sure.
I mean, he's a great
teacher
voice. Yeah. Absolutely. He has a calling, and he's using it. He's the gift that he got from God to do this. He's fulfilling that.
Right.
And I like listening to him. I like going to the church.
Yeah, me too.
But I don't think we'll ever know why.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever know why he, out of the blue, from one day to the next, shocking everyone, supported him.
Yeah, it was because I was like, am I on the right page? Like, I saw the post, and I was like, it kind of was weird. So I figured I'd ask you, but I guess it's still a mystery. Maybe one day you guys could talk and at least get an understanding on that and see what the deal is. And if not, then I mean, like you said, he made his choice. That's it. Yeah. There's other churches in Riverside County.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, let's get into. I know you got to get going, but let's get into your plan for California. I don't want to. Absolutely. I got a little bit of your background, and I'm so happy to hear that. But what the plan for California? Number one for me is probably, and you hit it right on the head earlier, is the homeless problem and how it's tied to the drug problem. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it's all about. What is your plan for homeless? Because I have a plan, and maybe I can put it in your ear. But what's your plan?
Yeah. So we fought very, very hard for Prop 36, because Prop 36 will not eliminate the homeless issue that we see out there, but it's going to get the vast majority of it. And basically, it's going to be what we did with Prop 36 is take us back to pre-2014 with Prop 47, because there was a time when we would arrest people for drugs, who we are seeing on the street, they all have drugs. They're all under the influence of drugs. And we would arrest them, and we would take them to court, and we would say, or the judge would say, we found you guilty. You're either going to go to jail or prison, depending on which crime it was. Right. Or the frequency of what it was happening. If it's your 20th time, you're probably going to prison, but never the first time, ever. Yeah. I was a drug cop. And so we knew that in someone's criminal history, it was a minimum of 7 convictions for drugs before they went to prison. So we knew whether it was they were just going to be let out right away, or whether they're going to have to stay in jail and the potential of going to prison. 7, not 1, 7. So the myth that we were lied to about drugs and mass incarceration, that's all made up. It's all a lie. It's a political lie meant to play on our emotions to make us feel bad for people that we shouldn't be feeling bad for. But anyway, so it was go to jail or go to rehab. And it was up to the people. It was up to the person that was there in court. And for the majority of them, they said, I want rehab. And so they would go to rehab. And the beauty about that is while they're in rehab, they've got to be sober. Maybe that was all they needed. You know, that was the last time they used drugs, and they got their life straight and right and moved on. Maybe they were sober for 6 months, fell off the wagon, and we arrested them again. But they had the same option. Okay, you're going to jail or rehab. They would go to rehab, and now we're doing it again. Maybe it takes 10 times. Maybe it takes 3. Whatever the case may be, that option was available. That was taken away. Prop 36 put it back. So what we all voted for last year, Prop 36 would have put it back if they would have dedicated the money to making sure that we had the places for the forced rehab. We have to have some place to send them. So here's the reality of the homeless. With me as your governor, I will make it a 10-year mandatory state prison sentence for anyone that ever uses the word homeless again. If you use the word homeless, you're going to go to prison for 10 years. We do not have a homeless problem. This has nothing to do with homes. We have a drug and a mental illness problem, and the reality of it is, for the vast majority of them, way into the 90th percentile, the drugs came first that caused the mental health issues. So we have a drug and alcohol-induced psychosis that is causing these people to be out on the street, rotting in their skin, dying in front of us, living on the sidewalks, that's what we see and we call homeless. They all had homes that they were kicked out of because of one reason or the other. The drug use, the stealing that always goes with drug use, the mental health that caused by the drug use, and then they were forced out of their homes by their families or by their friends, or they were more interested in their drug habit than paying their rent in an apartment. Right. So they lost their apartment, but they all had them. It wasn't for a lack of housing. It was drugs and alcohol. So if we're going to fix this situation, we have to be honest, we have to be truthful, and we have to start calling it what it is. It is a drug-induced psychosis causing these issues that we absolutely must get them help for. We have to get them sober. We have to address the mental health issues if they still have it once they are sober, which that's a possibility, but more than likely, without the drugs, they're not going to be mentally ill anymore. That's the reality. So we have to address those issues. We absolutely must have to have some place to send them. There has to be live-in facilities that are capable of the rehab for both the alcohol and the drugs and the mental health. And then introducing the best ones are the ones that also have the integration back into the workforce, whether it's getting you a job or getting you an apartment or something like that. So what we have right now is a homeless industrial complex. We have billions of dollars enabling this to continue. It's getting worse every single year. Every single year. Don't believe this election year propaganda that Karen Bass is telling everybody that the homeless
take a
is
drive
dropping.
To MacArthur Park, and you're going to see it's awful.
Yeah. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe the statistic that I'm telling you. That of the people that I had my people count them, and there's less. How? No. That's awesome. The money that is being blindly given to the majority of the nonprofits, the NGOs that are getting these grants and getting this free money that is being absolutely wasted, and none of the money or very tiny little amounts are being helped. I saw a statistic that one business in LA was given $5 million 1 year, $5 million for 1 year. They helped 3. They had 3 people in their program, $5 million. Those people got paid bank to be part of that organization. It's an industrial complex now. It's an industry. People are making money off of it, and there are jobs off of it. The homeless issue is never going to be fixed right now because all of those people are going to lose their money.
Yeah.
That's why we need an absolute overhaul, because they do need to lose their money. If they are not helping people with drug and alcohol rehab and reentry and mental health, if they do not offer any of that, then zero money. This isn't about homeless. This isn't about giving them a home, a tiny home, or buying apartment complexes that sit empty, or hotels that sit empty while people are raking in bank in their $1 million mansions because our taxpayer money funded it. So you got to call it what it is, and you've got to actually care about these people. We should be embarrassed as a state, as a government, that we are allowing people to rot and die on the streets, and we look at them and drive past them and say it's okay. We'll just keep giving them money for the drugs. We made drugs legal. We give them. Everybody that's homeless is given a minimum of $1,500 a month to continue that drug habit, to continue what they are doing.
And drug supplies.
Absolutely.
To keep getting high.
Absolutely. And that has to end.
Yeah.
We absolutely have to take the money away. We have to take away that enablement of allowing that to happen, and there's got to be a consequence for it. We will arrest them. We will force them to make the decision. Do you want to go to jail or rehab again? And they can pick. If they want jail, we'll take them. We'll put them in jail for whatever the sentence is, and then they'll be back out on the street. But the ones that want help, you get help. And if we fix the issue that you're having, drugs, alcohol, mental health, or a combination of all three, then you're going to be a productive member of society again.
I think there's some good organization. I like that you said that they have to be integrated back into society, helped, housing, job. There are some great, I don't know if you know Matthew Barnett from the LA Dream Center.
Yeah.
Great organization. They do all that.
Yeah.
And I think you got to be specific, though. You can't just give out free money and there's no
Right.
Accountability with the money that's being spent.
The legitimate ones
yes.
are able to show you the accountability.
100%.
They're
Homeboy
able
Industries, these organizations are about it.
Right.
Like they're organized. You can go in there. Let's see where the money's being spent.
Absolutely.
Here you go. Here's
Absolutely.
the books.
And they don't hide. They have nothing to hide.
They have nothing to hide. And
There are legitimate ones out there, and those legitimate ones will remain.
yeah.
They will still get their funding, because for me as the government, we have to fix it, because what it's costing on the back end, the cost of the loss of businesses for businesses, the law enforcement aspect where we have to go out and handle these calls for service with these homeless individuals, the issues they have, that pulls us away from keeping everyone else safe. And so there's a hidden cost that is, we don't even know what that cost is.
No.
But it is not acceptable. We absolutely must take care of these individuals that are out there and get them the help that they truly need as a human being. As a human being, we have to help these people.
Right.
And the reality is we're going to have to force them into help, because as we deal with them every day, if I walk up to, you're the homeless person, I say, hey man, I can get you some help, we can do this, you're going to scream and yell and swear at me and tell me that I'm the one with the problem, because you're messed up. You don't know how bad you are actually living in the position that you're in. You think it's normal. You think everything's okay. And so we have to get them sober so they can say, hey man, my life is screwed up right now. I don't want to go back and live there. I don't want to go do that again. I want to somehow get back with my family, but I got this drug problem and I think I'm ready to kick it. Can you help me out? Absolutely. That's what we should be able to do. And that's what we will do. That's how we'll address it. So for my biggest platform, I mean, there are numerous things that we're going to do with me as governor. Obviously the number one, my wheelhouse, is public safety. Public safety is, and
I was just going to get to that.
And that includes fire too.
Right.
So law enforcement has to be funded. Law enforcement has to be funded to keep us safe.
How much is it underfunded right now?
A ton. So I just learned this. So back throughout history, law enforcement, I am the biggest spender of taxpayer money, or I thought I was. And it's always been like that. And people have always said it's in the 40%, or now it's at 46% of our budget goes to public safety.
I pay your salary.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I get it. But for me, for a person who believes in that Constitution, who believes in how our government was formed, the number one role of the federal government is to keep us safe by the military. The number one role of our state governments and local governments is law enforcement and fire, to keep us safe and to keep us secure. That is the number one role. And common sense would tell you that, well, that's going to be the biggest driver of your money then. That's where the most money is going to be spent. So it used to be in the 40s and the 48, close to 50%. Some places probably went over 50% of their budget, of an entire city or county budget, went toward law enforcement. I just learned that ours is less than 25% right now.
Wow.
And in the mid 40s is social services. So these social programs that we have of these people getting money for nothing is the majority of the driver of our county budget. Yeah. So then I went to the state and I had to Google some budget questions or some budget numbers from the budget that just got submitted and see what the actual numbers were compared to the overall budget. And the state's budget for public safety is 10%. 10% of the budget. Yeah, very high 40% of social programs. All of our money is going to social programs. And those are and not even so for me, my belief, public safety is number one, infrastructure is number two. And by infrastructure, that means our roadways, our waterways, our electricity, our power grid that is horrible.
Yeah.
Outdated. Our gas to heat our homes, the electric for our homes, those types of things. That's infrastructure. That's the number two role of government. Water, giving us water, waterways, all of those things. And then number three, there's arguably, some people will throw other things in there, but I believe number three should be education. I believe that we should be educating our kids to make sure that they are intelligent, productive members of society when they reach adulthood. That's our goal. I think even especially when you know that it takes, right now we've developed a society where both mom and dad have to work. And so, both of they're not at home educating their kids. So kids go to school. We need to teach them to learn. It's the government's responsibility to make productive members of society. So I think that's number 3. So then I also throw in a number 4 that actually goes overlapping all of them, and that's cost of living. So my priorities are public safety, infrastructure, education, and cost of living, lowering that, which encompasses, it overlaps all
everything.
of those.
Taxes, everything.
Absolutely.
Gas.
Yeah. So public safety, law enforcement will have to get the resources that they need. We need more prisons. The prisons, Newsom's closed 4 prisons. He's going to close more before he leaves. The reality is, here's a little analogy to think of. If you've got 4 kids, and you and your wife are living in a house with 4 kids, and you're in a 2-bedroom house or 2-bedroom apartment, and you want your kids to have their own bedrooms, or it's like, my kids are getting big, they need their own rooms. You get a bigger house, bigger apartment, add on, you do something, you add rooms so they have more space. What you don't do is you don't like, oh man, my kids are getting too big now, I only got 1 extra bedroom, so I got to get rid of 3 of my kids. You don't get rid of your kids when you need more room. You build more room. And what happened in California is the federal government told California that there are too many people in prison. It's overcrowded. You need more room. You need more prisons. So instead of building more prisons, which they should have done, they just got rid of the inmates. They forced them into county jails. They let them go into our streets. And we went from roughly 160,000 inmates down to what we have now, which is high 80s. 80,000. So like 60, 70,000 inmates. Crime didn't go down. They didn't stop committing crime.
Right.
We just stopped sending them to jail and prison. They changed the laws to make it to where you couldn't send them to jail or prison. They changed the laws to make it to where we couldn't keep them in county jail anymore. They changed the laws to make it to where the people that were in prison, just let them out early. And criminals are truly the only ones that our current state government looks out for. That's the only ones that's being taken care of is criminals. So that will all end. That's backwards. No one thinks that's a good idea. So that will all end. We'll have to build more prisons, not a lot, but we've got to make more room for people that deserve to be kept away from us. And there has to be accountability. You have to be held accountable. If you're going to victimize us, there are consequences and you're going to be held accountable. Fire department. The budget for the fire department for the entire Cal Fire. Now we watched. It's front and center right now because of Pacific Palisades and Altadena, and losing 15,000 homes that were lost. I mean, that is insane. An entire city wiped out. Those pictures are just.
We haven't had those type of numbers since like the Great San Francisco fire, and what was that, like the 20s?
Yeah. And it shouldn't have happened.
No infrastructure, and it definitely shouldn't happen now.
Yeah. So all of that's going to have to be addressed. It was a combination of a water thing, but it was a combination of a regulation of them regulating the fire department, Cal Fire, keeping them, and even city fires, keeping them from clearing out the areas around the homes and from clearing out the dead brush that had been there for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, from doing burns in the off season to get rid of that, controlled burns, to make sure that when the fire happened, because fire happens every single year, and so do winds. So the numbers of fires haven't gotten worse. It's just the intensity of the fire. So those regulations have to be removed to allow the fire departments to clear out that brush, to clear out that dead stuff, to do those back burns, so we can actually bring insurance companies back in. The insurance companies all left because they told the state, you are going to cause a situation where we can't afford the repairs or to rebuild all of the homes that you're going to lose.
Look what happened.
And so the government did nothing about it. So the insurance company said, we warned you, now we have to leave. And then right after that, they have the fire. So it wasn't the insurance company's fault. It was the state's fault. It was regulation's fault. It wasn't the fire department's fault. It was the regulation of fire department. It was water. They could have had more water if the reservoirs were full, but that was more bureaucratic red tape no money to repair engines, no money to repair the tarp that thing was drained for. It was a stupid reason why it was drained. All of those things have to be fixed. We have to actually make investments. One of the things that struck me odd is that the budget for CAL FIRE is less than $5 billion a year. It's 4-point-something billion a year. The entire fire department for California, they have been short people for decades. They've been begging for more people, more help, more firemen, all those things, and they're told, no, there's no money. Let's say $4.5 billion a year. There's no money, but yet they were going to give $12 billion for health care to illegal aliens that are here illegally. More than double the entire budget of CAL FIRE. We could have twice as many firemen for less than health care for those that are here illegally, and we would never have those issues again. I mean, they would put fires out within 20 minutes. There would be so many firemen running around. But the priorities of government are completely backwards. So public safety would be number one, police and fire. And then number two would be the infrastructure, which is our waterways, our roadways, our roads, our freeways are brutal. I mean, they're horrible. You go to other states and they're smooth, they're new, they're clean, and ours are just trash. A joke. Electricity. I mean, how many times does your electricity go off in the middle of summer when it's 110 degrees?
Oh yeah,
it's a guarantee.
Yeah,
and that should be embarrassing for government that we don't have a power grid that supplies the electricity for our needs. It's embarrassing. That will be fixed. We will have more availability of power, different type of power available that's cheaper, that's more reliable, those nuclear options, things like that. And we're going to make sure that we're actually doing something, government is actually doing something to better the lives of Californians instead of the other way around, making it worse every year or just kicking the can down the road. So reservoirs, water, we need more water, we need more reservoirs. 12 years ago, we voted in a bond to build more reservoirs, and we've actually taken 4 away. Nothing's been built, but we've taken 4 away. They removed 4 dams. They have to be built again.
Yeah.
And it's regulations that's stopping them from being built. Those regulations are government imposed. It's on purpose. They've put these regulations in place so we can't build reservoirs. You just sign them away. That's all you have to do is the governor gets to sign them away and say, this regulation is no longer valid. The Coastal Commission or CEQA, which is the ones that prevent that. CEQA and Coastal Commission is what truly would have made it a 5 to 8 year job to build a house in the Pacific Palisades right now because of all those regulations and red tape. So with a stroke of a pen, Newsom removed them. And it's like, well, if you can remove them for those people, and that's what's going to prevent the building from actually, or it's going to make it allow the building to occur, why wouldn't we do that everywhere? So we can't, so these construction companies can actually build more homes.
Right.
They're preventing the construction companies from building more homes.
Oh, yeah.
And yet they cry and complain that we don't have housing and that we've artificially driven the cost of housing up. It's all because of regulation. And I'm telling you, on day one, I will just be signing my name on all of these executive orders that are taking away those regulations. Price of gasoline, close to $2 a gallon, is regulation cost.
So what you're saying that everything and every problem we have is self-inflicted.
It is 100% self-inflicted.
Right? It's self-inflicted.
And even worse, you have a current government that could do anything they want. There's no debate, there's no argument, there's no kickback. They have a super majority that they can do anything that they want.
So sad.
They could lower the price of gas by $2 a gallon today. They chose to raise it by 65.
Yep.
They could lower the cost of housing by 1/3 because 1/3 of the cost of a home is government regulated fees and study fees and everything else. So that could be signed away and eliminated right then. Gasoline. Not only do you take that $2 out a gallon, but we have more oil in California than Texas. We don't have as much as maybe Alaska, but we have more than Texas.
Insane.
We have more than Colorado. Texas has the lowest price of gas in the country. It's $2.35 a gallon. And what are we paying? $6? over $6 depending on where you go.
Some places, yeah.
You might find a low 5 somewhere.
Gotta
maybe
get that cheap 87 at Poncho's Gas or something.
Absolutely. And the reality of our oil is we are the biggest state in the country, the most people. We drive the most cars. That goes with population. We're the number one consumer of oil/gas in the country. And for California, we import 80% of the oil that we use when we could be drilling it right here and not paying the cost to import it in. We're making other people rich off of our backs.
Yeah.
We just keep paying for it to make other people rich. So you eliminate the regulation that does not allow drilling. We drill our own oil. We process our own oil into gas, refine it into gas, and now we have the cheapest gas in the country. And then here's the whole thing about lowering the price of gas. The reason why the cost of living in Texas is a fraction of what it is in California is because of fuel costs. Because everything about our economy, about the cost of living, is about the transportation of goods and services to where it's going. And when it's 3 times the amount that it should be, that means the cost of living is going to be 3 times the amount also. It has to go up.
Yeah.
And we're the ones that pay for it. The business can't pay for it. They can't absorb those costs. So on day one, all of these regulations are going to be removed to where we can actually start. California will, for the first time in decades, will be working to make your life better instead of more difficult, just by removing the regulations.
I like that. There's a lot of regulations out there.
Yep.
I mean, I was watching a guy the other day trying to work in El Tadena. Can't dig because of all the regulations, and the soil's bad. They have to send somebody out there to test the soil. This guy said it's good. That guy said it's no good.
Yeah.
And it just stalls out forever. You're paying fees here, this, left, right, everything. He's like, all I want to do is just help these people rebuild their home. Yeah. That's it. But so many things. It's ridiculous. I work in the construction trades, and everything we have to do, from adding seismic to a 1-inch pipe, just it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's just regulation after regulation. It's getting harder and harder to work here and to build.
Yeah.
Period. Let me ask you this, and then we'll start bringing it to a close. You mentioned the illegal alien problem here in California. What are we getting right, if we are getting anything right, and what is wrong? Because the optics right now look bad everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's awful. I mean, I follow the Border Patrol, I follow ICE, and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, they caught this guy. You know, this guy's awful. Molested a 14-year-old girl. Great, get his butt out of here.
Yeah.
And the narrative that the media and everybody is saying is that they're just finding anybody. If you're brown, we're picking you up and we're taking you.
Yeah.
What are we getting right and what are we getting wrong? And what are you going to do?
So what we're getting wrong as a society is we're watching this news and we're believing it. We're being lied to. We've been lied to for decades about almost everything. And now, but all of a sudden, because it's depending on the side you're in, you want to believe what they're telling you now.
Sure.
But you didn't believe it yesterday, but you like this one. You like what they're saying here, so now I'm going to believe this. The reality is they're lying to us. They're lying to us to play on our emotions. They're lying to us to divide us. They're lying to us about this because they're making it political. And so both sides are trying to take political control of it for their own political benefit. And in the end, we're being lied to. They want you to believe, even, you know, I don't want to say threatened, but I've told our politicians, if you're going to come out and lie to people, I'll destroy you politically, in the news, in the media, all of those things, social media, everything else. I will tell everybody what a liar you are because you're making these up. Stop repeating these random stories if you can't verify it, because they're not true.
Yeah, we saw the guy that ran from ICE the other day, ran into a clinic. The clinic people were trying to help him, right? And what is the story? The story is that he was their patient, right? It was one of their patients. They're going in there and just arresting random
in a random
people.
medical clinic.
And then you do a little research and you realize this guy ran from them, fought with them, got away, ran into the clinic, and they went after him.
Yeah.
Nobody does any thorough investigation about that. Nobody says, well, why did they go looking for him in the first place? Before we start defending this guy, what did he do? Let's find that out first, and let's see. But the narrative, and I looked at the hashtag for that, and all the hashtag was, now they're going inside medical clinics and searching for people.
In the beginning, they wanted people to believe that ICE was that we local law enforcement was helping. We've never helped, ever. Even before sanctuary state law, which is a joke, and it does not keep us safe, it harms us. Sanctuary state in California harms every single community.
Because it protects the bad guys?
Protects the criminals. That's all it was designed for. It was designed to make sure that criminals who are also here in the country illegally cannot be deported from prisons and jails. It ensured that we would have to release them back out into our communities. That's all it did, because never did local law enforcement cooperate with the federal government on immigration enforcement. That's the federal government's job. The only thing that we did do locally was jails would cooperate and say, hey, if I said you have a person in here that's in the country illegally, hold them for us, we're going to come get them, we would say, okay.
Would a warrant? They would need a warrant or no?
No. Because the reality is you don't need one. I mean, legally now we've said that a detainer, them calling and saying, hey, you've got a guy that's been deported already. He's formally deported or previously deported, and he's in your custody again. We're going to send you a detainer, which is just a piece of paper that says, hold this for us. We're going to come pick him up. We used to be able to honor those. So they've taken that away. You can't honor those detainers anymore.
And what kind of guys do you have to re-release back into society? I mean, because
every
that detainer is
crime,
not good.
Every crime that they do.
Disgusting
except
stuff, right?
for, well, if it's like a murder or some rapes, not all rapes, some rapes, a murder, there's a list maybe of about, I don't know how many there is, 30, maybe 20, 30 crimes that are heinous crimes that as long as that's the crime that they were arrested for, then you can cooperate with ICE. But if they've previously been convicted of rape, we'll say child molest. They're child molesters, multiple child molesters. They've already done their time and they're out and they get arrested for a DUI. And now we have this multiple child molester who's also here illegally, but this time he was arrested for DUI. We can't cooperate with ICE.
Insane.
Yeah. And so I'm under the belief that if you go to jail, then you should be deported. Getting a speeding ticket, getting a ticket for running a stop sign, that is not going to jail, and local law enforcement should not be, we shouldn't even care. I mean, here's your ticket, you're going to have to take care of it now. But once you break the law and end up in jail, you're proving to everybody that you didn't really come here to better the life of your family. You came here and you're breaking our laws and you're victimizing us, whether you're stealing from us, whether you're a drug addict, whatever the case may be. But even a DUI, how many DUIs does someone get to have before they get deported that's proving that they're not going to stop breaking our laws? And for me, it's very personal because I have several years ago, it was a person in the country illegally, got his third DUI. And we know it was his third because two of them he'd been convicted and did his time for the two previous. Now this was his third, but this third one killed one of my dispatchers. He was in an accident that killed one of my dispatchers and he was arrested for his third DUI. If he would have been deported on one of the first two, my dispatcher would still be alive. And how many other people are out there, angel moms? How many other parents would still have their kids if people were deported for breaking the law before it happened to be a murder? I mean, it's so I'm not. I'm kind of at the point where it's cut and dry for me. Break the law and end up in jail. If you're going to go to jail and do jail time, you're victimizing us. So it's not for your benefit anymore. It's to our detriment.
You're not being productive.
Yeah. So you're going to be deported, but not speeding tickets, not jaywalking tickets, not any of those things. And I honestly think that for decades, both political parties, Republicans and Democrats, have used immigration for their own benefit at the expense of all of us. They could have fixed our immigration system decades ago, and they choose not to because they're manipulating it for election season so they can say, this is what I'm going to do. So right now, everybody's going to come out and say, we're going to fix the immigration system. Vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. Well, you didn't do it the last 10 times you promised.
Right.
So 40 years ago, you said you were going to, and now we're 40 years down, 10 elections later, and you're still promising the same thing.
Well, we've seen that with videos from even Obama, even Biden, from maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago, saying, "Hey, we're going to deport you." I mean, he was the deporter in chief.
Yeah,
nobody cried.
He's deported more people than any president in our history. Obama did.
Insane.
Way more than Trump. Way more.
Oh yeah.
But we don't talk about any of that. It's just we're just using it politically. So as the governor, I'm firmly under the belief, and even as a law enforcement officer, I can't tell you how many thousands and thousands of people that I have come across in my 32 years in handling calls that were here illegally. It's thousands. Who cares? I don't care. I never asked. I didn't care. All I cared about was, are you a victim? You're a victim. How can I help you? Who are we? Where's the suspect? So here's the danger of law enforcement, local law enforcement being involved in immigration. So everybody's telling me you need to have your deputies enforcing immigration. No, I don't. Local law enforcement should not enforce immigration laws, and I'll tell you exactly why. We know that the immigrant community that is here is no longer reporting crime. We also know that they're easily victimized because they're afraid to report crime, because they don't want to be deported. They don't want to come out. So there is absolutely no way that we should have a teenage girl that is afraid to report that she was raped because she doesn't want her or her family deported. She's afraid of that, and that was used against her. You can't tell anybody. You can't say anything about this, or your family's going to get deported. We can't allow that. That's a failure of a human being to allow that to happen. That's why local law enforcement is never involved. Our community, whether you're visiting, whether you are a resident here, or you're here illegally, you are still here, and we have to protect you. Local law enforcement's job is to protect you and rid ourselves of the people that are victimizing us. But with all of that said, as the governor, we have to make sure that our border is secure for all of that to be possible. We have to make sure that that everyone that is committing crimes, I mean, it's something like in the 70% in California believe that you commit crimes, you got to go.
Yeah, it's
go.
growing every day.
Yeah. We also have to realize that whether they did it illegally or not, that's been the story of America. That's how we have so many people here, is either through birth or through immigration.
Sure.
Including probably your family, my wife's family. Mm-hmm. We all came here from somewhere else. And the problem is they have absolutely made it impossible now. So they have made being a criminal easier than doing it the right way. It's more, there's the risk reward. Just do it illegally.
Yes.
Because there's the risk of getting deported is next to nothing. And the reward is you're going to live here for the rest of your life.
And when you're given something without earning it, you don't value it as much.
At all. No,
not at all.
That's
the problem.
Yes. So the people that are coming here to better their lives are probably better Americans than people that are born here.
Sure.
Because they fled someplace that was absolutely horrible, looking for a better life, and they know that the United States is it. So they came here for that. So I think that I could solve the immigration problem. It's federal. It's not state. The governor can do nothing.
I like that
about immigration.
I like that you said that. I like that you made that clear. And I would probably say that's probably not popular amongst Republicans, is say, we're here to serve. Whether you're here illegal or not, report the crime.
Yeah.
We're going to go after that person. We're not here to go and, hey, you reported this crime. Hey, is your mother legal or not legal here? Oh, they're not. It's not your job. And I think that making that clear, at least from your county and your deputies, and saying, this is what we do.
Yeah.
ICE can do their job, and if they ask us to detain somebody or hold them for us, we'll have to do it if they fit the criteria. But listen, we're out here to protect our citizens. If you're here illegally, technically you still have the rights of the police protecting you and serving you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty amazing to say that. I think some realms that probably won't be popular in the party you're running with, but it's truthful thing. It's a humanitarian thing on that part.
And you're not, if you live your life to make everybody happy, you're going to just make everybody unhappy.
You're going to make yourself miserable.
Yeah. So you've got to do what's right. You got to do the right thing. It is not right for local law enforcement to be engaged in immigration enforcement, but our jails should be. Our jails should be turning over ICE. If ICE was going into our jails picking up these people, they wouldn't be going out into our communities to pick them up. That's just an absolute fact. Right. And so we got to start telling the truth. We got to start being honest about what's happening and what's not. And in the end, I think California could play a huge part if you had the right governor. California could play a huge part in forcing the federal government to fix the immigration system, to make it easier to be able to come here, to make it easier to be able to come into the country, whether it's even to visit. They won't even let visitors in. I mean, it's crazy what's happening. You can come here illegally and you're fine, but you can't come visit by doing it the right way. Yeah. So I think that if you had a bunch of adults sitting around a table making decisions that would benefit everyone, we could fix the immigration system. You'd have to take the politics out of it. There can't be Democrats and Republicans in there fighting. There has to just be adults that want to fix the problem, and we could do it. I believe that it makes me mad sometimes that I know for some situations how easy it is to get citizenship. If you came here illegally and you had kids here, because of that, you can get citizenship, but you have to try. So these people that are saying, yeah, my kids are, you're going to deport mom and dad, but the kids are still here. Yeah. Well, why didn't mom and dad become citizens? Because they could have. They just didn't. They chose not to. Right. They chose not to go through the process, whether it was too hard for them, they didn't want to deal with it, whatever the case may be. They chose not to. Sometimes I don't feel sorry for them.
Yeah, you got to get it done, just like everything else.
Yeah. So right now there has to be. I mean, I don't think that not every single person. I don't believe in amnesty, just saying, okay, anybody before this date, you're all fine. No, I don't believe in that. Can't do that because you broke the law. And you broke the law and you jumped in front of a lot of people from countries all over the world
the right way.
That are trying to do it the right way. So it's sending a horrible message. You can't break the law. We have an adherence to laws again. And so you're a lot of the times it's civil. You're going to pay a fine. I mean, we don't have to send you to jail, but if you've been here, you're working, you're doing things right. Your kids now you've had kids and you've raised a family.
Don't have a crime record.
Right. There has to be a pathway to become a citizen.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's a teacher, history. No, he was a history teacher. Now he's a principal. My bad, Mike. But we were talking about it, and he's like, "There's no quick way to fix it. It's gotten so bad that you have to come up with new things. You can't just get rid of millions of people and say, sending you back."
So there was a time in our country where my wife's grandparents, you could join the military, you could work on the railroad,
right? And
if you did that for 5 years, if you did that for whatever the time was, and you were law abiding, you didn't break laws, you weren't victimizing anybody, and you were serving in the railroad or in the military, that was your pathway to citizenship. They took that away. It's like, why would you take that away? I think that it's okay as long as we're vetting these people, and you absolutely. Yeah. And we could do that again. And there's an argument that there's a lot of things now that we need. Back then it was the railroad. Back then it was the military. It still could be. It still could be the military.
Sure.
It could be law enforcement, some type of law enforcement, fire service, public safety realm where you're providing a good service. Yeah. It could. There's a lot of argument for the construction industry, the hospitality industry, the food industry. And who knows what the answer is? We need to come up with a plan. That works.
I was telling him, me and Mike were talking. He was like, "You should have 90 days to self-report. If you have no criminal record, here's XYZ what you need to do. Pay a fine, work on your citizenship. You got X amount of time to get it done.
Yeah.
And if you're working, law-abiding citizen, you want to be a part of this country, let's get it done."
Yeah.
Now, the other criteria, if you don't meet it, sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's on you.
It's on you.
Yeah.
You know, and your intentions are probably always going to be not the best.
Right.
But if you're here and you're in hospitality, or I work in construction, you get guys that, hey, they want to do it. I've seen guys do it, you know, very little English, but they get their citizenship and they're ecstatic at work. You know, they're happy. So it's challenging, but it's doable. It's just doing the work, and nobody wants to do the work.
That's right.
Last thing.
Yes.
What role does God play in Sheriff Bianco's life?
The primary role. So my priorities are God, my wife, my kids, my friends, work. And I've always had that priority. And that's what God said the priority was supposed to be. It was supposed to be God first, then your spouse, which for me, it's my wife, then family-ish. I don't think it said particularly family, but you know, your family goes off and does their own thing, but I believe family is important. So my family is that next thing. And then friends, and then job. And now a lot of people say job right after should be before friends, but I like my friends. I like community. I think we should take care of each other, and I think we should help each other and before work. Yeah, we've got to work. You got to do that. But those are my priorities. And the way I look at it is, if I keep those priorities in my decision-making as sheriff, in my decision-making as a friend, as a husband, of anything, I can never be wrong. Because number one, I can't dishonor God in any decision. I can't dishonor my wife in any decision. I certainly don't want to harm or embarrass my kids. Friends that respect me and that help me, that hold me up, I can't do them. And then my work. So if my decisions are based in that, just by having God as number one, none of the others can go wrong. I can't make a bad work decision if God is my priority. I can't make a bad marriage decision, relationship decision, if God is my priority. And I know that now some I can, but I can't just start rattling off quoted scriptures and everything else. But I know where to find it. I know it exists. I know that what's in the Bible, God's word in the Bible, is basically a roadmap and an instruction manual for all of our lives. So if I'm having problems in a marriage, I mean, I'm not going to go to the bookstore to figure out how to answer my wife or to fix my relationship with my wife. I'm going to go to the Bible. What did God tell me to do?
Yeah.
So I wish sometimes, and I think that I've heard other pastors and I've asked other pastors, and God gives us talents that we're supposed to use for the best, for what he wants us to use them for. And he didn't give me the ability to be an evangelical Bible thumper going out and doing that. I mean, I don't have that.
It's okay.
But I have other ways of doing it that he gave me that I can use. And so that's kind of how I look at it, is that I know that everything I have was because he put me here, and the tools that he gave me have allowed me to become successful in this realm. And so I have to be aware of that. I have to be cognizant of that. And we truly are. I mean, I give thanks to him every single day. I ask him to continue with the blessings every single day. And when I'm going through rough decisions or hard times, I always pray first. I mean, my decision to go to that Board of Supervisors meeting and say that I was not going to enforce any of these COVID rules, I didn't just run in there and do it. I prayed. I was like, man, what am I supposed to be doing here? I mean, you gotta tell me something. You gotta show me something. Yeah,
that was really risky.
Yeah, I mean, for my wife, I told her that day. There's this meeting was going on, and I could tell the direction it was going. I could tell what they were going to do, and I called her and I said, "Hey, I'm going over to that meeting, and I'm going to do this." And she's like, "No, you can't. I mean, you're going to ruin. I mean, politically, you can't do it." And when we were talking about it, it's like, yeah, this is going to be bad. I mean, there's going to be people hating me. And in the end, I'm just watching, and I called her back up and I said, I'm doing it. I got to do it. And it was, as I'm listening to that, I mean, God didn't say, get up and go over there.
Take off your mask and throw it.
Yeah. But he certainly, it was the Holy Spirit that was guiding my thoughts and what I was hearing and what the feelings I was doing. So, I don't take praying lightly. I know that everything that we do, whether it's, every marriage isn't perfect all the time. And so when my wife and I are fighting or arguing or not agreeing on something, we always pray.
Sure.
I mean, let's figure this out. Let's do the right thing. This is what God told us we had to do in this situation. So why are we fighting about it? Yeah. We know we have to do this. And so it's his role in my life is huge. I owe him everything.
That's so good. I appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely.
I'll say this about you. Stand-up guy. Your family loves you. Your department loves you. Obviously. Your county loves you. They voted for you. Again, probably will vote for you again. So, must be doing something right. You're serving God. It's good to know that you pray before you make decisions, and God plays a role in your life. So I'll give you all those things, and I'm a big family guy. If your kids are in order, your kids love you, your wife loves you. I mean, that's huge for me. That speaks volumes more than a lot of, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you that for sure.
Very good.
I appreciate you coming out, man. That was great
Absolutely.
conversation. We do one last thing though. Before you leave, me and Camo, we have this thing called the Furious 5.
Uh-oh.
We ask you 5 furious questions. Ready for this?
No, but let's go. We'll get it over with.
We like to have a little fun at the end.
Very good.
We talked a lot of serious stuff, and I appreciate that. You were very transparent. Question number 1 on the Street Gospel Furious 5. I get invited to your fine county. You say, Dave, I'm taking you to lunch. Where are we going?
Yeah. For lunch?
Or dinner. He's having a hard time. He's going to hurt somebody's feelings right now.
No, I know, because we go to several all the time. But I'm going to say, just because it's easier for me and it would probably be easier for you too, Wood Ranch.
We'd go to Wood Ranch. I've been to the one over there.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm telling you that is because...
Corona?
No, the one in Corona. Yeah. My wife and I are carnivores. So I haven't had anything but red meat for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
I only eat steak.
Really?
So when we go out to dinner, we go to Wood Ranch. You can have barbecue too. So we have a barbecue, ribeye, whatever it is that we're going to have there. So it's just easy, and it's close to our house. Yeah. So if we're going to go out, that's where we go. Otherwise, we just go home and we barbecue, we smoke, we throw it on the fryer or whatever it is. But big old steak.
Yeah, Wood Ranch is good. My in-laws live in Beaumont. So that's kind of like the halfway point. We go, we meet there for lunch. It's dinner. It's great.
Very good.
I mean, we've kind of fell in love with that place a little bit. So.
Have they always lived in Beaumont?
My brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my in-laws, they lived there for probably, let's say 5 to 6 years now, maybe a little bit longer.
My wife is born and raised in Beaumont.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. We still go in the back, way in the back hills. Do a little shooting back there once.
Very good.
So it's fun back
Very
there.
good.
Question number 2 on the Street Gospel Furious 5. When you're at the gym working out, what is a song on your playlist that nobody would ever think the sheriff would be listening to?
Well, I don't have, boy, I don't know. That I'm not listening, that you wouldn't believe that I'm listening to.
I mean, just a random song that you play.
These are tough questions. So I don't have a playlist. It's already, so when in the gym, I listen to Pandora and it's Kid Rock Radio.
Kid Rock Radio.
So that's all I listen to.
Love
and that's my gym music.
Everybody used to make fun of me when Kid Rock first came out. I was like, this dude's dope. I love Kid Rock. I mean, he was very entertaining. But he's evolved into this great musician, man.
Yeah.
He writes great songs, sings well.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't care what anybody thinks about him. He says it like it is. So definitely Kid Rock. Question number 3 on the Street Gospel Furious 5. What is your weapon of choice?
Staccato.
Staccato, which just became like
they just
Put it
got
on the-
California legal, put it
roster.
on the roster. They did. Surprising to me, but it is good. They're super expensive. But it's by far best gun I've ever shot. Easiest gun I've ever shot. It's the easiest gun to control. Probably the best quality of just fit and finish of any gun that I own. I own a lot of guns, and I've shot most guns. Staccatos by far, and I've got 3 of them.
I haven't shot one yet. I have to try one out.
Yeah, they're good.
I saw him come on the roster recently. I was like, oh snap! A lot of guns have been coming on the roster. I'm like, what's going on over there? So, hey, I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Question number 4 on the Street Gospel Furious 5. If you had to take a suspect down as a wrestler, how are you taking him down?
As a wrestler, that was the easiest thing for me. Is I was a good wrestler. I was pretty good, and so the whole grappling and using people's body weight against them. Back then the whole jujitsu and all of the Krav Maga and all those things that are out now.
Right.
That wasn't big back then. It was just regular wrestling, but it was every single time. It was a wrestling move that I took them down with.
Paid off.
Absolutely.
I mean,
even so far as like just a regular single leg takedown or a double leg takedown, you always started with a tap, just a tap to the head and then you're under, and
for some reason their hands go up.
Absolutely. And so for me, that's it. I mean, you were going down and you weren't going to know you're going down, and it was that either just the throwing it up there or a real tap, but yeah, that was all the time.
So good. Question number 5, last one, the Street Gospel Furious 5. Who is your favorite TV cop of all time?
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood, of course.
Yeah.
Dirty Harry?
Absolutely.
I mean, I was trying to think who was my favorite. What was my? I mean, I was a big NYPD Blue guy when it was around. I loved it. I did like it was different for him. I forgot the movie, but I like when Stallone played that like sheriff in that little town.
Oh yeah,
I forgot that movie.
That was good. I only watched a couple of episodes of that.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. You gotta go Eastwood though.
Eastwood all the way.
Yeah.
Man,
Dirty Harry.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
I saw him directing a movie recently. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Sheriff, where can everybody that wants to support you donate to the campaign, find what you're all about? Where can they
Thank you very much. BiancoForGovernor.com. 30,000 foot level of all the policies that we're going to change. No taxes, no state income taxes. All those things are all on the website. You can certainly sign up to help in the campaign with volunteering, anything like that. We have a merch page, t-shirts, hats, all those things.
Merch is legit.
Thank you. It's good. We're selling a lot of it. Yeah. All of the money goes directly to the campaign. And then, of course, you can donate online, too. These campaigns are expensive. We're going to need a lot of money. And all of that goes to directly helping me get the message out there and get out make sure everybody votes. Social media is big. Please follow me on all of the platforms. Sheriff Chad Bianco on all of the platforms. Like, share, do all those things when I post. That's going to help this campaign a lot.
Awesome. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Good time.
That'll wrap up today's episode of the Street Gospel Podcast. Go out there, follow us, follow Sheriff Chad Bianco. We love you guys. We out. Peace.